do kind of a round robin and hear really what you guys want to actually focus on this evening. I know that we have a list of things on the background, and we have had this conversation throughout the week. But I want to know where you guys stand as far as what you're excited about talking about this evening. So, gonna start with you, of course, as the co-host. What do you got? Where do you want to go? Because I know we left last night with a cliffhanger, but what are you excited about when it comes to tonight?
What I'm excited about always, of course, is politics is what I enjoy talking about, but also the cliffhanger, which I'll let you, of course, do, but helping hands. Helping hands. I want to talk about helping hands, those resources.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's going to be such a huge part of the conversation, ensuring that we actually dive into like how we get the resources and help for the people that actually need it. Absolutely. Thank you for that, E. Olive, what about you? There's a ton of stuff to talk about. What are you looking forward to?
Hi, my name is Olive, for anybody that doesn't know me, which is probably a lot of you because I'm a smaller creator. And I host and panel mostly in LGBTQIA plus spaces. And I kind of want to talk about the intersectionality of that when it comes to this topic, and how specifically trans women are used as a scapegoat by cis men. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm going to take that in that direction.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, Olive. Manda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Manda, what are you looking forward to adding to the conversation tonight?
Well, something I think about a lot anyway is that like men who voted for Kamala sometimes just think they're automatically safe, right? Or they're not toxic. But I've experienced on this app a lot of toxicity from men who voted from Kamala or voted for Kamala, and I've been called all kinds of names because I wouldn't give them space to speak. And I think that's interesting, and sort of like the subtle ways that subtle things men do to add or perpetuate the patriarchy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Men, if nothing else, they're gonna uphold that patriarchy. So you got it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Manda. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing all right.
Wonderful.
How about you?
I'm good. Dan, what are you looking forward to speaking to tonight?
I want to talk about how toxic masculinity has affected the past three elections, particularly 2016, 2024, and how that has negatively affected both men and women with these results. I also want to talk about how the rigidity of toxic masculinity leads to a lack of accountability. And I think that lack of accountability extends into a lot of aspects of our lives.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. I think that's a key, and we got to dive into accountability. All right, perfect. Kiana, how are you?
I'm doing good. I hope you are.
Wonderful. Kiana, what are you excited about speaking on this evening?
It's like 50-50 for me. So I really, really like the intersectionality topic and collateral damage, as well as men and their emotions. Like that's two big ones for me. So either one of those topics I'm really excited about.
Absolutely. All right, perfect. Listen, all right, we're gonna go ahead and bring a couple more people in here. And throughout the night, not only will I have my special guests rotating in and out, but I will also have different people within the community. So if you are interested in actually joining this conversation, please go ahead and request. So one thing that I feel like I need to give a disclaimer of prior to bringing people in, because I think that there was a little bit of a misnomer for people when they came in last night and they thought it was a debate. Right, E? Like we had a couple people that came in kind of hot and they thought they were going to go back and forth.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Exactly.
It's not a debate.
Tell them what we're doing, E.
We are having a panel discussion is what we're having. open discussion about male fragility and toxic masculinity. So we are going to be listening to each other. We're not going to be over talking. None of those debate bro things, because that's not what we're doing here tonight. So as I like to say, everyone, let's keep it cute or keep it on mute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and get
Oh,
a couple.
also before you start,
Mhm.
before you start, I didn't do my thing because I was trying to fix the song. But hi, Amanda. Hi, Dan. Hi, Key. And Olive. It's nice to meet you, love. Okay.
There we go.
All right, we're going to bring a couple more people in here, and then we're going to not only get into the topic of conversation, but there's a couple of other things I want to hit, and then we'll really go ahead and start to flush out the conversation. So again, if you are interested in joining the conversation, go ahead and request up. We will be bringing additional people in here. All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's start with David. David, how are you?
Fine.
Wonderful, wonderful. David, so welcome into the panel. Just really quick, taking a look at the background. What brought you into the conversation? What are you looking forward to speaking to most this evening?
The fact that men are fragile. How? Because most men are pro-life. If you are pro-life, you're not fragile.
Okay. Hey, David, you know this isn't a debate, right?
You know. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure you understand that. Making sure you understand that before we go too far. All right. Give me a second here, David. Dano, how are you? Dano, are you there? Dano going once. Dano going twice. All right. I'm gonna drop you down. What's happening here? There's stuff that's popping up on the screen and I can't actually get to it. Okay, hold on. Let's do this. All right. Reggie, how are you? Oh, well, it's Reggie as well. Okay. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. All right.
Hello.
Hello. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. E, can you?
He still has whatever he sprayed in his nose. Okay. Hi, Diana. Hi. Welcome.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. All right. Go ahead, Santana.
I'm sorry about that. Hi, Diana. How are you this evening?
Hey, how are you doing? I'm good.
Wonderful, wonderful. Diana, thank you for joining us. I guess to get it going, what are you about tonight?
Yeah, for sure. I think what I'm most excited about is I've been thinking a lot lately about, male-centered spaces versus female-centered spaces, and I think that's going to be an interesting topic I'd like to get into.
Absolutely, absolutely. That sounds wonderful. And last but not least, Mark, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How's everybody doing today?
Wonderful, wonderful. Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Mark,
Hello.
what are you looking forward to talking about this evening?
I really like. I'm leaning towards men and emotions. I think that's like something that I'm, most well versed in.
Absolutely.
Being a man and have emotions.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, wonderful, wonderful. We're gonna go ahead and get into it. Really quick before we get started, just a quick reminder, and I want to make sure that I continue to harp on this, guys. For those people, because I know there's a lot of people that are here that aren't necessarily used to this space, or they may be a little bit confused because they've only seen me doing, debates or whatever the case may be. But this is Late Nights with Santana. What that means is that we are here for, like Erica said, a panel discussion. This is a civil conversation where we are not here to debate, but more than anything, this is a safe and friendly community. What does that mean? That means we don't deal with any of the isms, racism, sexism, classism. We also don't deal with any of the phobias, homophobia, transphobia, none of that. We don't play that on the panel nor in the chat. Speaking of the chat, please, please, please be mindful. Caps are for mods. Please do not use caps. It'll draw my attention away from the panel into the chat. And we want to make sure we're able to actually have this conversation on the panel. Now, guys, a couple of other really quick things, super important things that I want to bring everyone's attention to. Not only are we here to have the conversation around toxic masculinity and male fragility, but we're doing this for a wonderful cause. What cause are we doing this for? Boom! There we go. We are taking up donations, and we have done so for the first 2 nights. This is night 3 of donations. Any and every donation sent to the pay link, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Santana Speaks for You, Santana Speaks for You will be going to 2 different organizations. First one is Movember. Movember is an organization that actually. All right. Who's off mute? I got feedback.
Are you cutting out?
I don't know. Someone. Okay. Someone. There it is. I don't know who's off mute, but I had feedback for a second. All right. Movember is a organization that deals with men's mental health, and we also are taking donations, and we're gonna be donating to RAIN, which RAIN is an organization that supports those people who are survivors of DV. So again, any and every dollar that you donate, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, will be going towards those 2 different causes. Now, just an FYI, night 1, we were able to raise $551. Night 2, $320. So tonight, guys, not gonna hold you. I want to do at least 600 tonight. There's already almost 600 people here. So if everybody just send $1, we can get close to that. We are really, really, really trying to do something special. And again, every single dollar that you send to the pay links, YouTube, I love you. But if you send a super chat, it's for your boy. But if you send Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, we will be donating that over. And of course, we will be posting receipts because transparency is important. Not only are we looking to actually raise money for those 2 wonderful causes, but we are also looking to make sure that we provide resources for those people that may need help. So throughout the night, we will continue to actually bring this to your attention. If you are in crisis and you need support, you can always dial 988. If you are a veteran, you can select option 1, and you can get direct support that way if you are in crisis. Also, if you're someone that is a victim of DV and you need support, the National DV Hotline is available 24/7, 1-800-799-7233. RAIN.org also has a chat function if you are interested in reaching out if you don't have the ability to actually speak. You can utilize the chat function. And for those people that are part of the queer community, the Trevor Project, if you need support, if you are in any type of crisis and you're part of the queer community, you can reach out to the Trevor Project. They have a bunch of different ways that you can actually contact them. So we will continue to actually make sure that we give you these resources throughout the night, because we are not only here to have this conversation, but we are here to support wonderful causes and also support you. Now, with that being said, let's get into it. So I kind of want to start on the cliffhanger, but it seems like a lot of people want to talk about the toxic masculinity when it comes to politics. I'll let you pick. Where do we go?
Where do we go?
Yeah.
You really want me to pick? I get to pick?
Do we want to do the cliffhanger, or do we want to dig into the one where it seems like a lot of people are, jabbing at the politics?
Wanting to go? I actually think that once they hear the cliffhanger, they'll want to go there. So I think you should say the cliffhanger.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm busy. I want to know what the cliffhanger is.
Okay. So I was having a conversation with someone and we were talking about men, right? Because of course we're advocates for therapy, right? Therapy is very much needed, right? Men in therapy, in my opinion, it's like peas and carrots, should absolutely go together, and you should absolutely ensure that you're taking care of your mental health and processing through things in proper ways. So I was having a conversation with someone and sorry. The person told me, yeah, I know. I'm telling you, it's like, yeah. Anyway, the person told me that while men should go to therapy, they should not have a woman therapist. Men should not have a woman therapist. Now, the part that I did not tell you about last night, unless you're over on the YouTube, because sorry, I gave the YouTubes an inside scoop as far as why, the why behind that. The why is men should not have a woman therapist because men should not rely on women to actually do the work for them. So when you start to actually deal with your male fragility, your toxic masculinity, you start to quote unquote deconstruct and work through all of those things as far as what it means to be a man and your privilege in the patriarchal system and all this other stuff. You having a woman guiding you or leaning on a woman to go through that process is a no-no, and you should actually engage with a man doing that.
Nope, I don't agree.
Okay. Rapid fire. Before we give too many opinions, yes or no? Erica, do you agree?
Nope.
Olive?
No.
Amanda?
No.
Dan?
No.
Kiana?
I'm gonna say no. I'm leaning more towards no than yes.
David?
No.
Diana?
I'm kind of in between, actually, I think.
Mark?
I'm like 60-40, no. Like 60% no.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm safely in the camp of no. I have a woman therapist, and it's funny for me. I've had many therapists, right? I've had men, women. I've had black people, white people, Asian, just all. I've went through a lot of different therapists, and I feel like, and maybe it's because how I was raised, right? Because I was raised by a black woman. I have 4 black women, older sisters. I'm, not only the only boy, but I'm also the baby. And every time that I've gone to therapy, the therapists that I've connected with the most have been black women. And so my current therapist, shout out to her, is a black woman, and she's like stellar. And so I feel like she's the one that has helped guide me through that the most. This is what I want to do. So E, set the table. I want you to start. Share your opinion about why you say that. What are your thoughts? I want to go to Diana and Kiana, and I want to hear from them because they're kind of like, I want to hear the opposing view. Go ahead, E.
Okay. Well, I look at things pragmatically when it comes to a therapist, and a therapist is a unbiased third party who is supposed to help you and provide basically resources with how you're supposed to deal with with whatever it is that you have going on. They literally have a school of thought that they go by. Like they are either going to do like ABT or CBT therapy. They do that. It's not like you're talking to a friend. And so I don't know. I think people may need, whoever you were speaking with, I'm just going to say they might want to examine how it was they were looking at therapy or how to find a therapist. But also additionally, it kind of be like saying that a black person shouldn't have a white therapist. And I used to think that way. Like, no, she has to be a black one. But I'm going to be perfectly honest. This white lady that I talk to now, best therapist I ever had. Best therapist I ever had. And I've had quite a few. So there's that. So I think that, no, I don't know. I think that is just looking that's a different lens that I haven't put on yet, and I don't think that I am going to put on, because I like to look at it quite a bit logically when it comes to picking a therapist. Like, what are their credentials, their reviews, and then we're just going to go from there. And so, Kiana, why are you split? Why are you split? Why are you split, love?
This is a really hard question, Erica. Like, I'm literally over here like biting nails. Like, I don't know.
Really?
Yes, I'm really torn because it's like one part of me is like, okay, I can see it from the perspective of we are alleviating women from trying to solve, men's problems, and kind of giving it to men to kind of figure out in the mental health department where they can improve without the help of women carrying that burden. But then I'm also saying if we're doing that right, is that saying that women are not capable of? It's like a censorship thing. But then I'm also torn because I also want to look at it from like an age perspective, depending on what age the guy is. Because I think that sometimes people can relate better. Like, I know you said that if we look at it from more of a medical stance of what they learned during therapy to not come from a biased perspective, but I think just by natural human instinct, you kind of can relate more to people that you identify with. So we're speaking like of a young man that's developing into adulthood. Would he be able to relate more to a male therapist and be willing to let down his boundaries quicker? So I'm just torn. I think it can go both ways, but that's why I said I'm more so like 70 no and 30 yes. But I'm open to what Santana was saying, like, because I've never looked at it from that perspective. I just think that with therapy, I think it's just finding your match. It's kind of like a relationship. It's not always just like who has the longest list of qualifications, but just that person that you were able to really create that bond with, that sense of trust, to actually put your guard down, to actually, use their skills.
Yeah,
so
most definitely.
I think I've never thought of it like on a gender aspect. Like, that's never crossed my mind. So it was like a really different question to ask.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was just going to say I completely agree. I think that's interesting, and I hear you. I don't want to say too much. You're right, but I agree. Like, find your match. Diana, what about you? Why are you where you are?
So on like a pragmatic level, I don't see an issue with it. I don't see an issue with well, I mean, like on like a other level, I'm like, men caused most of men's problems, so men should be the one to fix it. But also, I do have the hot take of, I think that men, like, it is a necessity in men's life to have a woman somewhere critiquing him, like, to be a productive member of society. I have that hot take. So I'm leaning towards no, I don't see an issue with it. But yeah, I can't understand why someone would be like, no, it's not a woman's problem to fix. You know what I mean?
I think though that when it comes to picking a therapist, and if you're specifically looking for one of the same gender as you, what ends up sometimes happening is confirmation bias. Like, they're going to affirm what it is that you're thinking, and then also, let's say me as a woman, and then my therapist being a woman. They sometimes can see things exactly as I see it. So they have blind spots. And I'm like, it's their job. Like, they chose to be a therapist. They're going to deal with all different types of people. I'm so sorry if I don't see like the whole emotional labor part of it, because that's their job. It's not like he is putting this burden on a partner or a friend that's a woman. This is a therapist. He's paying this person to listen to him, and he's paying this person to provide them with resources. It's their job. It's their job. I don't know.
No, you make a great point there. Yeah.
It's their job. Santana, where was this person coming from? Like, spill the beans, dude.
Yeah.
No, there's no beans to spill. It was just more so in the sense that again, speaking to like doing the work and then why did David leave? I was literally getting ready to go to him next.
No, he wanted to debate anyways.
I know. I wanted to go to him next. I don't know if you said. I had just said I'm going to him next. But what I was gonna say is that it was just more so in the premise behind like the fact that when men need to do the work, and while they're doing the work, they can't rely on a woman to actually do the work for them. They need to be more aware, and they need to actually be more willing to seek out. I think it's the same premise as far as like, oh, if you're a black person, then I'm sorry, if you're a white person and you're deconstructing, you shouldn't go to a black person and say like, hey, help me deconstruct. I think that was the same premise. So I don't know if I can agree with that one.
It's their job.
It is their job, and you know what? And so like that's kind of like the hard part that I have as well, because it's kind of like how I feel about people when they talk about like judges, right? When people start talking about like, oh, this is a Democratic judge or a Republican judge. No, it's a judge. Like they should be able to do their job. Yes, I understand people have biases and leanings or whatever, but like it's your job and you should be able to do that, to the best of your ability. And I will say, I think EU said this, but I don't know. Like I do kind of feel like whenever I had men as therapists, I did feel like there was a bit of confirmation bias, and I didn't want someone just to agree with me. I wanted someone to challenge me and push back on what I was saying. And hey, black women do that for me. They hold me accountable. So
I'm gonna say the exact same about a black women therapist. The 3 that I had, I felt like they were just kind of almost in a sense telling me what I wanted to hear, and I was like, I don't know what I'm getting out of this. I don't know, but yeah. So moving on, I want Olive. What do you think?
This is such a great topic of conversation because my gears have been turning so hard. But with therapists, no matter how fantastic you are at your job on paper, right? You go to school, you do all the work, you put in the time, you understand how to be an effective and good therapist. That doesn't take away from the fact that you're still human. And I don't think therapists are arbiters of like the highest peak of like morality and full-blown deconstruction of every internalized bias, right? So men still have men who are therapists still have more than likely at least one internalized bias from the systems of the patriarchy, right? So like to say that all men have to go to only men across the board just seems incredibly counterproductive. And sometimes you need a woman to intervene to help unravel some of that. So that's kind of my perspective.
yeah, I agree. I think that it's necessary, and especially to have that guiding hand, and I think that it's in my opinion good to hear from someone that's like impacted by that negative perpetuation that you are engaging in. So Dan, what about you? What do you think?
I agree mostly with what Erica had said in regards to like this isn't a partner or a friend that you're putting this on, the therapist that you're paying, and so I don't really see why you would exclude yourself from that segment of therapists. Also, I think what Diana had said was pretty based, that that men need a woman to be judging them. I think that's true. We really need. We're kind of cooked in general, and I think women writing the course sometimes is where we need to go to actually find introspection and grow.
Yeah, I sorry, not to like jump in and announce, but like I think that like if you think of all of these motives used by these larger conglomerates efforts to drive votes, specifically like if we reference the Harris election, that's what it was. That's what it was, is guys telling other guys that women think it's lame if you don't do this certain thing.
Oh, we don't
It's a
want to
huge.
say lame. That's a ableist term.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm sorry, not said it. Sorry, LAME. It's a term we're talking about, like, people with disabilities is often referred to, with like issues with walking and things like that. But you want to kind of stay away from that.
Oh.
But I get your premise. It
I
was
didn't
not
know
a,
that.
not a cool. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like it was uncool
Mhm.
to do these things, and women, quote unquote, wouldn't find you attractive if you didn't do these things. Like it's used as like ways to push things like that, and I think that's so true. And to change the minds of men in, like, this space of toxic masculinity, I do think that it's necessary.
Yep. I want to hear from Mark as well, and then I want to, of course, introduce a new person on the panel, and then we're going to keep moving this conversation forward because we've got a ton to get into, and then we got more people we want to get to, all this other stuff. Mark, final word. What do you say?
I mean, like, so that's why I was like 60-40, is because like 40, like I get it, if this was like a partner, or if this was, anybody else, then yeah, that would 100% make sense to me. But like Erica said, this is their job. That's literally what they're trying to do, and they're trying to like think objectively in these kinds of scenarios. So that's why like it makes more sense for me personally for that to, for you to be able to have a woman therapist. But also personally speaking, like I just feel more comfortable around women. So like I mean, that's just how I am personally. Yeah, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Amanda, I didn't forget about you. I intentionally didn't come to you on this because, just an FYI, you are getting ready to lead off the next conversation. So I want you to start thinking about it, because I want to hear from you about the toxic politics in fragile society. Did you see that? I'm trying to think of a nice way to put it, but like the spectacle that was put on by the Secretary of War, and how that is permeated through politics, and how it's affecting like us as a society. So I'm coming to you in just a moment, so be ready, because that's your topic. But first, let me just introduce Andrea. Andrea, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Andra.
It's
Andra.
I
said
Andra. Thank you, Andra. I'm sorry. Okay, we both got it wrong. My
You
goodness.
guys are the only ones that are allowed to repeatedly botch my
I've been
name.
over here for too long.
I said Andra.
It's okay. He mispronounced my name in the
I'm willing to be gaslit by Santana. It's all right.
Wait, if I remember correctly, isn't it Andra? Like
Andra.
at the end?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't put such an emphasis on the end, but yeah.
Don't worry, I got you, Andrada.
Right on. Okay. Tell me whatever at this point. Present and accounted for.
What are you most looking forward to talking about tonight? I know you and I, like, you always bring it in. You know what late nights is about, and you've even had similar parallel conversations with us about like these types of topics. So I'm excited to see which point is the one that you're most excited to speak on this evening.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big topic. I think fragile masculinity and all that in general is really hot right now. It's an issue. I definitely came in. I don't know what the original question I just came into was something about like therapists and someone who worked in a clinician's office. I have many thoughts on many topics regarding that, but I'm gonna side with Erica as always in that, like, when you are a clinician, it's kind of like a lawyer. That's your job. They assign someone to you and you have to take it and be unbiased, because there are people who come in who are objectively like horrible people, right? Who are getting therapy for really like, and no one would willingly jump onto that, sort of thing. So like you take who you're assigned and you have to do what you do. But like it is an interesting thought of like, yes, men, like everyone will go towards usually like who they most relate to, right? Which is why there's like a big overflow of like, because there's a lack of representation, you know, in both male therapists and like people of color. So that's it was always like a hard thing for us to try and pair people with if they requested it. But the men one is interesting because sometimes I'm like, yeah, men need a man to speak to confide in. But sometimes you would meet a man who was seeing a man therapist and you're like, I know you're meeting him and he's just telling you everything you want to hear, and it's bro dude culture and not really helpful.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, all right. Really quick, because I want to read these off, and then we're gonna go to Manda for the topic around toxic politics and fragile society. Excuse me. I want to read off these donations really quick. Sorry. Update this. I'm gonna run through it. I'm not gonna be able to read all the messages out because there's a few of them. I do want to say thank you though. Chloe, thank you so much for the 5. Said thank you for all that you do. You're wonderful. Kim, thank you so much for the 30. Thank you for the 3-night sessions. Yes, fucking Olive. Hey, thank you so much for the 50. You said thank you for the advocacy and providing this space. Olive, you're fucking awesome. You didn't have to do that. Like, I appreciate you so much. Elise, thank you so much for the 20. Thank you for speaking up and talking about important things. Listen, we have to do it together. And feisty. Massive W's in the chat for Feisty for the $100 donation. Let's go, Feisty. You are fucking awesome. Angel, thank you so much. The political unicorn, thank you so much for the 30. Said just getting rolling. I know that's right. Lyric, thank you so much for the 1. You are absolutely far too kind. Lacey, thank you so much for the 2. Loving the panel format. Listen, they doing it, right? They doing it. Kim, thank you so much for the 25. You are amazing. And last but not least, Anna, thank you so much for the 1. Anna, listen, first and foremost, you never have to say sorry about whatever you do. Times are hard, and we appreciate you more than you can ever imagine. Saying, sorry, I can't do more. Thanks for having these conversations. As a therapist, I approve of the panel's takes. Even mine? W's in the chat for everyone that actually donated. Also, really quick, W's in the chat for Sarah over on the tube, who just became a late night tuber. And W's in the chat for Chance, who sent a $2 super chat to say, last night to donate everyone, what did y'all put in? I'm assuming that's what you meant to say. I need to make sure I put the pay links over on YouTube because again, guys, we are raising money for 2 amazing causes, and the 2 amazing causes are Movember, which is for men's mental health, and RAIN, which is for survivors of DV. Everything that we have collected over these 3 nights will be donated between these 2 different organizations. And also, we want to make sure that we're providing this information for anyone that may be in crisis. If you in crisis and you need help, you can always call 988. If you're a veteran, you can select option 1. If you're someone being affected by DV, then you can always call National DV Hotline. It's available 24/7, 1-800-799-7233. RAIN.org has a chat function, so if you don't have the ability to speak, you can always chat through there. And if you are a member of the queer community and you are in crisis and you need help, the Trevor Project, if you go to this page, they have multiple ways that you can actually contact them. So we want to make sure that we are not only having these conversations and supporting those 2 wonderful causes, but we're providing these resources so we can support you guys. So again, if anyone can actually chip in $1, $2, $5, it does not matter what it is. Any and everything is accepted and appreciated. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support. All right, now that I got that out of the way, Manda, coming to you. Floor is yours. Big topic.
Yeah, right. I think the first thing I thought of was like the far right-wing groups like the Heritage Foundation and the decades of work that they've done to red pill young men. And I think that happened because, right, the civil rights movement, women gaining more rights, they're afraid of they're afraid of something, and who knows what. But I just think that when specifically white men feel threatened, they turn that into toxicity, and they use that to oppress other marginalized communities. And we saw it, I think, really, really evidently in this last election. And a lot of us do political debates, right? And we see nothing. I mean, we got told tonight on a panel. I was on Justice panel, and a man came up and told us we deserve to be raped to unalivement. And that's because, that is, that's a result of these far right-wing groups brainwashing these young men. So this is just huge. I mean, I could keep going, but that's what I first thought of is that, and they now Trump was the Trojan horse to bring the Heritage Foundation into the Oval Office. And so now they're there. They're where they wanted to be. So now they're doing things like Hegseth's speech, right? Hegseth, or I always want to call him Keg's breath every time, because that's the name that people joke and say. But so I almost said that on accident. But and his was, now there's no more anonymous reporting in the military, right? So when women are assaulted, they can't do it anonymously and protect themselves. We already know women have a hard enough time in the military. And so he's just making it harder because they don't want women, because they're threatened by women and their strength and their genius, right? And it's a huge topic again, but that's where I went first.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's interesting that you said that they're threatened by women in the military, because I don't know if you felt the same way when listening to it, but I completely heard the targeting of women and minorities as a whole. And honestly, it felt like they were targeting everybody. But when they talked about oh, you need to be able to meet the man standards regardless of this or that or whatever, it felt like they were specifically trying to actually go at women. But then even more so to the point, talking about removing the veil of cover for anonymous complaints. And then something else that caught my attention was talking about we're going to bring back yelling and cursing and flipping bumps and all of this quote unquote machismo stuff that had been associated with the military for a long time. Did you hear that as well, E?
Yep, that's exactly what I heard. I also heard Donald Trump tell them that there are 2 N-words that they can't use. One of them is nuclear. You wonder what the other one is. So there's that. I mean, it's just is blatant sexism, blatant racism, bigotry. It's blatant all of the bad things, and they are wanting to push out everyone who doesn't fit their mold, which is white, cisgendered, and male. And so, I mean, and that's what they're pushing to young people, and that's who they're recruiting and filling with this ideology. And so we just have to figure out ways to continue to combat it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Andrew, what do you think? Where do you stand on this? Because I am sure that you consumed it, and I don't know if you made a video about it or not. I usually have your videos pop up on my feed all the time. But what were your thoughts when you heard or you saw the permeation of toxic masculinity throughout the United States military? And not only it's being something that was in our face, but it seems like it's something that was being celebrated.
Good Lord. Yeah, a lot of thoughts. I mean, I've been offline a little the last week and a half because I've been moving into my condo, but I've been picking
Congratulations,
up,
by the way.
Thank you. And it's been peaceful not reading the news, but I pick up bits and pieces of it here. My mom called me and read me some article about this speech specifically because she was worked up about it. So I did catch this one. And it's insane. And it's just I mean, it's obvious that Pete is struggling with a number of things. So he's kind of in a manic episode, and that's all compiling on to him just losing it and going off like this. But yeah, Like, it's just these small men who clearly must feel so small that they have to pretend to be big and powerful. Like, I mean, Donald himself has just failed his way to the top, and he probably knows it, which is why he sucks so bad, and needs to constantly remind everyone. I think it's the same thing with him, the same thing with all of these guys. I went to school with the guy who is the digital media lead or whatever of JD Vance's entire team. And I can tell you, that kid was like 5'7" and full of short man insecurity all throughout high school. And he was a turd. And I think that's a good way to describe all of them. Like, they're all just taking out whatever on everyone else.
That's an interesting perspective. But I do want to pass it on to Kiana, because I did see your hand raised in the chat. Kiana, what did you want to add?
So I definitely want to dive into the toxicity of politics today. I know sometimes when people pretend like they were a service member, we call them stolen valor. I don't know if this is a term, but I'm going to make it a term because I've never heard it. I'm going to start saying stolen victimhood. A lot of times on this app, we see, especially with men, that they steal victimhood. They use it to boost themselves up in the hierarchy of esteem. Because for some reason they think that they're oppressed in 2025, especially white men. There is no reason for them in any shape, form, or fashion to ever think that they have been oppressed in this country. In other groups of men as well, but more specifically white men, because of course there's intersectionality with racism when we talk in xenophobia or whatever else it is, when we talk about other classes of groups. But the amount of stolen victimhood on this app is insane. So that is extremely toxic on this app, especially when we're talking about politics, which makes them extremely violent, and all of the bigotry that we have to endure, especially as women on this app. Another thing, we are living in a constant state of gaslighting. MAGA is constantly gaslighting us. Like, we can talk about what they were saying before Donald Trump got elected versus what they're saying now. We can talk about what he promised versus what they're going for. We can talk about the lines that we put in the sand that they're now retracting. It's a lot of gaslighting, telling us that we're not seeing the clear fascism that's occurring in this country, that we're just, fear mongering. So yeah, like, just to wrap that all in, it has become extremely toxic to be on the political side. I think that it's important to stay engaged, just to be educated and to be aware of what's to come. But the toxicity involving politics is at, I would say, an all-time high right now, for sure.
Absolutely. I know I also want to, Mark, I'm coming to you because I have a question that I want to get your opinion on around this as well. But I did see 2 hands in the chat, and I don't want to look over them. So really quick, I want to go to Diana, and then Olive, and then Mark, I'm coming to you. Diana, floor is yours.
Yeah, I wanted to hop over something, go back to something that Amanda said regarding the getting rid of anonymous filing for women in the military. Not only do I feel like that is, silencing women, but if you've been around military culture, if you, like, my grandfather was in the military growing up, understanding just how much trouble you can get in for simply talking back to somebody of higher rank than you, like, understanding the fear of going against somebody that is higher rank than you in the military, just that would silence women. And now getting rid of the fact that it's anonymous, 1,000%, we are going to see women be targeted and punished and stripped of rank and not given opportunities and held back because they report something like that. And then their entire unit knows, and then they're treated way differently. And you can't get out. Like, it's not just like a job you can step away from because of how toxic it is. You can't get away from it. So who knows, like, the horrible things that can be happening to these unfortunate victims.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Olive.
First, I just want to ask, are we allowed to say the F word?
No,
Not
did
the
you
one you're
hear the
thinking
intro
of.
song?
FASCISM. That.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the
No,
with
I
the
would never.
fukata bread. I was about to say Mama Jones was watching. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
We don't like
So,
fascists. Bunch of Antifa
okay,
over
I
here.
just didn't know if TT terms of service had changed in regards to that word or not.
No,
But
we live by a motto in my community, and the motto is "F it, we ball." So we'll see
love
what
it.
happens.
Okay, what I was going to say directly relates to toxic politics and fascism, but it's not like super duper quick. So if you want to go to Mark first, I can wait.
Oh, okay. Yeah, really quick then. Mark, so sticking on that same topic, because there's a lot of people that said a lot of different things that struck a chord when it came to like the conversation. And I want to read this. I'm going to get to the other donos as well, because I got a lot of thank yous, but this, like, it triggered a response in my brain, and I want to hear what you think about this, because I like, when I heard him say it, I knew that. Not gonna say the name because they're in the military. Said, but this is so scary. And this is so scary. But also the Beardo comment was directly impacting Black men in the military. There were rumors they wanted people that were called the people with what is called no shave chits. I don't know what that is. Chets, no shave chets. Out after 1 year, I think. I don't know what that is, but regardless, yeah, when I heard the Beardo comments, for people that don't know, a lot of Black men, when it comes to like shaving, the constant shaving of the skin causes irritation, and it's a whole thing. And you see a lot of Black men in the military, they have a lot of those razor bumps and all the kind of stuff, and it's directly impacting them. And so being able to not being required to shave all the time has been massively beneficial to Black men. And going back to a policy where you were shaving constantly is very harmful. Mark, what do you think about that?
I think that that's very, very targeted towards people of color, because just the way the hair grows, that's obviously affecting them directly. I lost my train of thought while I was talking. I'm sorry.
No worries. Sometimes I start a sentence and I don't know where it's going.
Yeah, that's what happened to me just now. But I just I mean, it's really messed up. It ain't cool. But yeah, I mean, I mean, that's really all I can say to that because I don't really have much knowledge when it comes to like the military aspect of things.
Yeah, no. Sure.
But I do know like having facial hair is like a big deal when it comes to toxic masculinity. Because I mean, growing up, my hair grows fast, and they're like, "Whoa, man! I wish I was like that. I wish I was the same kind of way that the men talk about how many what's in their black book." I don't know how to make that sound nice. And I think it stems from a place of like purpose, where mainly talking about like young men, very like 18, 17 in the red pill space. I think it stems from a place of purpose where they don't know where they're going to be. They don't know what they're going to do. They don't know anything like that. And these like red pill guys, name who you want, but bringing it into politics, yeah, MAGA kind of also fills into that space. They kind of give them like a purpose. They kind of give them like marching orders in a sense. And I think that's where it comes from a lot. And if you look at that to like the nth degree, you get people like Pete Hegseth, where it keeps going, and then it just spirals into this giant, monster that's, controlling and doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, and I mean I think it sets the tone to what we're dealing with, because they have this mindset and a perspective and point of view that they're trying to perpetuate, you know, and it's super interesting to watch it develop because to Olive's point, we're dealing with a bunch of fascists. Olive, right? Floor is yours.
Yeah, so in my participation in debate talk spaces, I typically host LGBT topics. And I don't want to divert from the topics on the panel by bringing this up, but I do think that this directly relates to toxic politics as well as the intersectionality of toxic masculinity. So I just have a few points here. Of the 9 total, generally recognized tenets of fascism, the 8th one in particular is scapegoating and exclusion, right? So trans women are one of the main current scapegoats, considered like the internal enemy. And I
The
only say
boogeyman.
trans women, right, exactly. I only say trans women in particular because for whatever reason, you never hear people complain about trans men for the most part, right? So trans women are one of a few subgroups that are blamed for all the problems in this country right now, and I think this is literally just cis men escaping from their own accountability because 93.8% of all SA cases are perpetuated by cis men, and 0.95% of the population is trans, meaning trans women is even less than that. It's roughly 0.31% of the population. So as this tenet of fascism, we find one of the smallest, most vulnerable groups to use as this scary, terrifying thing, when in reality, they are not perpetuating any substantial harm in the slightest. That's not saying that they can't, but it's, they're not perpetuating harm because of their gender identity. So I just find it very interesting that of all the random, niche minorities that we could pick on, we choose trans women to make an absolute scene about. And I really just, I want to tap into somebody's psyche and understand how we can have this conversation surrounding this and say, oh yeah, let's take away, trans people's pew-pews when the cis men are perpetuating it. It's just, it just blows my mind. I don't know.
E, why? Tell them why. Tell them why. I know why. I know you know why. I think everybody on the panel knows why. E, why are they targeting the transgender community when, to Olive's point, they are such a small portion of the population, and we know for a fact, who's really doing the do.
Oh God. Well, not only is it like a matter of deflection, but I think overall, when it comes to transgender people, especially transgender women, is all about control. They don't have access. They want access, but they don't have access, and it's 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 strange. I don't think I have the best way to put it. I think Kiana actually, I've heard her talk about this before, and she makes like a really, really good point. I think it all comes down to, again, control and access, and they sex. I don't know if I can say that word on TikTok, but I said the word on TikTok. But that's what it comes down to.
Bumping uglies.
Yes, bumping uglies. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also had one more point to bring up that doesn't have to do with trans people, but it's more so. I had a VC before this live today with some people in my server, and I was, asking them for their input about anything that they would want me to bring up, and we started talking about specifically liberal men, specifically YT liberal men, and this little phrase popped in my head, and I wrote it down because I thought it was funny. But I said, sometimes the elephant in the room is the donkey. And I feel like, unfortunately, a lot of times we see liberals, specifically YT men, not taking accountability, because at least we know what we're getting with MAGA, right? And I fear that there's a lot of deception with liberals specifically. And keep in mind, I'm a raging leftist. Like, this is not, whatever. But at least you know what you're getting with MAGA. And then with liberal men, they dodge a lot of accountability. And it ends up putting specifically marginalized communities in a position where they feel gaslit as all hell. You know, and I feel like as a community, we need to work on holding our own accountable more often than we do, especially within the men, you know. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I choose violence. Kiana, why is it
I'm
that
sorry,
liberal
time
white
out.
men? Nope.
Time out. Why did you say you choose violence and then say
You'll see.
Kiana?
Listen, Kiana,
Oh my God.
why is it that?
Optics.
Why is it that? Why do you think liberal white men can perpetuate just as much harm when it comes to overall toxic masculinity and you know, especially when they're supposedly the ones that should be safe or try to advocate for these different groups, and you know, come to find out whatever. What do you think, Kiana?
At our feet. Okay, you know I don't mind stepping on toes, so I'm going to be honest at all costs. I truly think that, but I'm not just going to put it on. Well, we have to stay on the men because that's the topic. I truly think that liberal men think that somehow, some way, that they have assimilated into the Black struggle or marginalized groups. That's what I truly think. I think that they think because of their proximity to the way that we typically vote the same, that somehow they relate and can relate to the same struggles. And that's just not the case.
Wait, are you saying that they're not, they don't understand being marginalized to the fullest extent? I'm a little confused. What are you saying?
They absolutely don't. Like that's not a thing, especially, that's not a thing. Like when you're talking to them, I think that they have this thing where they think that they've created a safe haven somehow for those that are marginalized, that we somehow feel safe with them, that we can let our hair down and we feel this need for them to protect us. I think that a lot of times they want to be the mouthpiece for us. Instead of letting us speak, they think that they have to speak for us instead of allowing us to speak for our own selves, or even we don't need them to stand beside us while we speak and advocate for ourselves. Like Swan says this amazing thing, and I always utilize it. W. Swan is that those that are marginalized don't want you to use your privilege. We want you guys to lose it. So I don't know where the idea that they have come to this conclusion that we feel safe or that they are this safeguard compared to conservatives, but it's not that. It's truly not that. They kind of can pose the same harm just because they overstep a lot of times. A lot of times they mix their plight with ours, and I think that it's two completely different paths, and that's no shots to anybody that is a liberal, but there's also a lot of harm in being a liberal. It's just a watered down conservative, literally. If you wanted a iced tea with just a little bit of tea and the vast majority of ice that's melted down, that's what a liberal is. It's not really a progressive ideology if you really start to break it down.
Kiana, my bonus child. Before we get too far,
you see why I said I chose violence?
I don't. Well, optics.
Oh, come on!
And that's the thing. The speaking over part of it, like not just speaking for, but speaking over Black voices, and where the toxic masculinity, that fragility comes into play, is when they are corrected, especially by a Black woman. When they are corrected, and even in the kindest of ways, they still get defensive. You know, that aggressiveness comes out to play, and we see it. And so, like, whether you're conservative or you're liberal, no matter how you identify, at the end of the day, you still are a male. you still identify as a man, and in doing so, you exhibit those traits that you really do need to like unpack and ask yourself, why am I reacting this way just because I'm being challenged? So yeah, I think that's something too. That was me choosing kindness, because that wasn't violent at all. It kind of was. But yeah, I want to pass it to Diana, because I saw your hand in the chat, Diana, and you raised it a few times throughout the conversation. So which piece did you want to add on to?
So Santana knows this. I have a little bit of a inside perspective on liberal men. It's all performative, babes. It's all performative.
Y'all sharing secrets?
No, I'm live. No, I don't need to bring all that back up.
It was a lot. It was a lot.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. God, what a time.
Holy smokes.
But it's all performative. It really is. It's all performative. And when we're talking about people who, you know, profit off of these spaces of being a, you know, that one liberal guy, it's all for profit, and they love the clout and they love the attention from it. And in reality, behind closed doors, they don't live by a single word of what they're screaming from the rooftops. I swear. Like, it's, yeah. That's my take.
The one thing that I will say, because like I heard this called out in multiple ways, and the reason why I went to Kiana as well is because I know Kiana, one, is going to be unapologetically honest in herself in so many ways, but two, I know she always is picking up what I'm putting down, so I already knew where she was going to go. I do want to call out something that she said, and something that is worth saying is, like, if there's ever someone that's running around calling himself a quote unquote safe place, or, you know, whatever, just saying, oh, I'm a safe place, like, that's a red flag, right? I mean, you should never be the one trying to, you know, project that label on yourself. And then also, you have to understand that just because you're safe in the moment does not mean you're safe overall. And
exactly.
so
You don't get to determine if you are the safe space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so not only does that come with, like, you know, men and women, or whatever the case may be, but it also comes to, like, you know, race, when you talk about different intersectionality, like all of it. It's like you aren't the arbiter of who entrusts you to be safe or whatever. So with all that being said, I want to call out one thing, because while we specifically talked about certain, you know, white liberal men, I will always say that when they earn the ability to be a quote unquote safe space, then they earn that ability, and they continue to work and earn that. And that's just like any other situation. So I'm not saying that, you know, no person, you know, can't do this or do that or whatever. The point that I'm making is that once someone actually earns it, then that happens, and they have to continue to earn it each and every day. Dan, I would love to hear what you have to say. Manda, I want to hear what you have to say, because we haven't heard from either one of you two in a while. Dan, floor is yours, and then Manda.
Okay, we touched on it a little bit in regards to some liberals that don't take accountability, and I just want to talk about accountability and its role in toxic masculinity in general. First, in why there's such a lack of accountability among people that prescribe to toxic masculinity, and also how why it seems to be perpetuating. So basically, to hold yourself accountable for something is to put yourself in a vulnerable position, a position of humility, and admit wrong. And that's something that fundamentally goes against what's being preached by red pillars, what's being preached by conservatives that want to bring us back to a place where men are dominant. And the problem is that as a society, it's, at least in being reinforced through very public consequences or lack of consequences. So I'm going to give a couple examples. In the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton owned up to her Iraq war vote and called it a mistake. And the conservatives constantly didn't let her down. And not just the conservatives, even on let her live it down, excuse me. And not just conservatives, but also Democrats or liberals or leftists to the left of her wouldn't let her live it down. Trump, despite being on record being for the Iraq war at first, just denied, and was able to skirt past accountability, ended up winning the election. We look at something like fracking. So you have Kamala Harris articulately explain her difference in position on fracking when she was a politician in the state of California versus when she was on the public stage as both vice president and then ultimately presidential nominee. And the voters in the state of Pennsylvania did not trust her accountability there and chose to vote against her, a lot of which because of her former position on fracking. Whereas you have in I believe it was only 2 years prior, John Fetterman also flip-flopped, as you want to call it, on the position of fracking. And rather than admitting to it or saying that he changed his mind, he just denied reality and was elected the senator of Pennsylvania. You look to scandals in regards to sexual misconduct or SA. You have people like Donald Trump, obviously constantly denying accountability, never taking accountability for not only what he's been accused of, but what he's been adjudicated against for, what he's been found guilty for, what he's admitted to, never taking accountability. And then you have politicians like Anthony Weiner, who openly admitted to what he did, and his political career has been destroyed ever since. And if you want to do an apples to apples comparison, because maybe Trump is a unique accountability dodger, Bill Clinton, also a Democratic politician like Anthony Weiner, denied on a public stage about his affair with Monica Lewinsky and left office with high approval ratings. These are the types of things that constantly come up in our politics. Anytime a politician takes accountability for something, you look at John Kerry in 2004, just stated that he voted in a different way because of a nuanced reason for voting this way and then this way, and Bush was able to win the election solely on that. So not only does toxic masculinity preach a lack of accountability, but the results of it are kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, because if you're seeing on these very, very public stages, taking accountability means I've lost, and not taking accountability seems to mean I win, then people that, and in this case we're talking about men usually, but people in general will never break out of that cycle. Will never find the introspective needed to grow as a person, and that's what you need to do when you want to take accountability.
I completely agree.
You did that, Dan.
He did. I just hate that he stopped like right after I bit into my shortbread cookie. I completely agree, and it's super interesting that you said that in the sense of like admitting that you're wrong is like admitting that you lost. It's the weirdest thing in the perpetuation of like you. Holy smokes, 10 out of 10, no notes. Manda, I want to come to you, and then we have Kay. Kay has something that she's gonna cover, and also before Kay gets into it, I want to read off all of the thank yous because the donations you guys are going freaking awesome. So Manda, I'm gonna read off these donations, then coming to you, Kay.
Sounds good.
Okay, Santana, you didn't say what you wanted to come to Manda about.
Oh
no, did you?
No. I was giving you the floor because I was saying you and Dan had been waiting or hadn't gotten an opportunity to speak in a while, and so that's why I was coming to you two.
Sure. I thought you said you're going to read off the donations and then
no. I'm
okay.
Someone just said they can barely hear me. How's the audio?
I can hear you just fine.
Chat, is it low for anyone else because I've been told lately that I'm loud, so I have it turned down. So what do you?
Just needs to turn up the buttons on the side of their phone.
Okay. All right. All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Floor is yours. You haven't had an opportunity to speak in a while. Anything that you want to add to it, or where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm. Well, I just want to first say I apologize for not giving a trigger warning when I spoke last time, because what I said could have been very triggering. So I apologize, chat, for that. Maybe a little bit here when I discuss like liberal men in my interactions with them on this app. So a lot of us do where we just want ops up, right? We don't have a lot of friendlies on our panel. So I'll bring people up and I'll say, and if they say no, they didn't vote for Trump, they voted for Kamala, I'll say, okay, you got 30 seconds. I've done that multiple times. And I had men who voted for Kamala call me the C word, tell me I wasn't worthy to hear what they had to say anyway. And they just berated the women on the panel because I hurt their feelings somehow. And that's happened multiple times. Those are just
always the feelings.
Yeah. Those are just two examples. And I think about like what Olive was saying about how transgender women especially are the boogeyman for the right now. And we always think of the right as the ones that are using them. But what about what like Gavin Newsom said, right? Like everybody's forgot that he said shitty things about transgender people playing in sports. So but we just forgot about it and we're letting him get away with it because he's standing up to Trump. Who cares? He still did the wrong thing. He still did something very harmful that's just perpetuating the red pill movement, right? So I think we as a collective need to hold people like Gavin Newsom responsible. Like if you want to run for president, if you want to do this, you got to fucking say you're sorry for what you said and make up for it.
But
so
doesn't that speak directly to what we were talking about earlier about certain, white liberal men where they pretend that they can actually connect with those marginalized groups, but then when it really comes down to it, they don't have that actual experience and that real connection. They prove, who they are. Like Gavin Newsom is the perfect example because like I know a lot of people felt like they could get behind him, and then he had those comments and it was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But now, people are kind of like,
language.
Okay. Yeah. Holy smokes. Language. E, watch your language. You don't curse on here, E. My mom is listening. Sorry about that, Amanda. I don't know why she did that.
I don't get paid enough for this.
I've heard a few of my transgender friends say that if he runs for president, if he's the candidate, they're going to hold their nose and then move the fuck out of this. I'm sorry. I just did it too. I apologize. I'm sorry, Mama Jones. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. Kay, stop.
I know.
Kay, why would you do that, Kay? Holy smokes.
But they'll hold their nose and vote and then run out of move out of the country. So, and they shouldn't have to do that. They shouldn't have to. That shouldn't be forced to hold your nose and vote for somebody. I know no candidate's going to be perfect, but what he did was egregious. So,
yeah,
I
land my plane.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
Anything you want to add into that before I, do the other things?
Nope. Moving along.
Okay. All right. Really quick, I gotta call these out because you guys are fucking going off, and you know what? I think that we might as well keep it pushing. So massive, huge, absolutely fucking E, stop making me curse.
Language.
You made me do
Please,
it.
sir.
Massive W's in the chat for Stephanie, who sent a $100 donation, said appreciate it. Stephanie, you are absolutely far too kind. Thank you. W's in the chat for Angel, who sent a $10 donation saying, you need you help my hubs agree to therapy. Thanks. Listen, W's in the chat for you and your husband, because men, in my opinion, men need therapy more than anyone else. It's just my opinion. W's in the chat for Sarah for the 15. Thank you for bringing awareness. If therapy was normalized for men, just said that, and mental illness was addressed, maybe there will be less DBs. Listen, talk about it. W's in the chat for Wendy, who sent 10. Say happy government shutdown. Thank you for doing this. Rain has helped me a lot. Absolutely. Thank you for that. And W's in the chat for Letitia, who sent a $20 donation for Rain and Movember. And W's in the chat for Michael, like a million W's in the chat for Michael, who sent a $150 donation saying, I'm a 988 caller. My father was diagnosed with depression and talked to me about mental health from a young age. He saved my life, and I'm forever grateful and will be open about it. Listen, one, thank you for the $150, but two, like, thank you for sharing that. I think it's so important to share that story and to be able to actually make sure we continue to let people know, like, hey, you're not alone. This is not something that only you're dealing with. Like, people deal with these type of issues. That people are constantly in crisis, and just like others can have gotten through it, you can as well. There's always help. So absolutely massive W's in the chat for Michael. W's in the chat for Brenda. Brenda sent a $25 donation and just gave a fist. I know that's right. And I need to add this one because this one just came in. W's in the chat for Tori. Tori just sent a $15 donation saying, I'm a social worker and working towards my clinical license. This panel makes me feel like I'm back at school. Thank you all for the inspiration. Your insight brings depth and hope. The conversations surrounding politics and social justice. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you. Guys, I know I started live and said that I wanted to at least do 600 tonight, but we're not even halfway through the live yet. Not even halfway through the live yet. And I know we can keep pushing it. Let's do 1,000. Let's do 1,000. So guys, please remember what we are taking donations for. We're taking donations because we are donating over these 3 nights, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have been taking up donations to pay link. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks to You. We are donating to 2 wonderful causes. We're donating to Movember, which Movember helps with men's mental health for multiple things that they deal with mental health. And then we're also taking up donations for RAIN, which RAIN is for survivors or DV. And a great call out. Someone had to check me on this because it's not just for women, but just survivors, period. So they are an amazing organization that we are helping support in those 2 different ways. And also, I would be remiss if I did not say that we want to make sure that we continue to put the resources out for the people that need it. So if you are in crisis and you need help, 988. You can always call 988 if you are in crisis. If you're a veteran, go ahead and select option 1. If you are someone that is being affected by DV, the National DV Hotline is available 24/7. You can always call 1-800-799-7233. Rain.org also has a chat function, so you can use that. And last but not least, of course, now my friends that are in the queer community, if you need help and you are in crisis specifically and you want someone to help you in your situation as well, you can reach out to the Trevor program. I'm not saying that you can't or Trevor Project. Not saying you can't reach out to any of the other ones, but they specialize for the people within the queer community as well. They have multiple different ways that you can actually contact them. So guys, I'm going to be flashing this throughout the night. I want to make sure that we are not only having the conversation and raising money, but we are making sure that we provide any and every bit of support that we can for everybody. I know I said I was going to go to Kay, but Diana, I saw your hand up. I want to go ahead and give you the floor, and I'm actually going to. I'm sorry?
Before Diana goes, can I just read this one off?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. E, go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much, Maya, for the 5. We can add it to the goal. So we're at 620.
Hey.
Maya said, I wish I could give more. No. Everything is appreciated, love. So thank you so much. She said, but thank you for all you do. You make a difference. You inspire many people and you give me hope for a better future. Thank you so much. You're too kind. So thank you so much, Maya. I appreciate you, love. Thank you. And we wanted to go to Diana. Diana, you did have your hand raised in the chat.
And I was just about to say, Diana, I'm gonna come to you, and then I'm gonna swap you out. And I know there's a couple other people who are in different time zones, and I'm gonna start swapping some of the other panelists out as well. But Diana, I wanted to make sure we got a chance to hear from you because you had something, and then any other thoughts. And I'm gonna swap you out after that. But floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate it. Sorry, I know I spammed my hand up in the chat. I just feel so passionately about this. Can we please stop acting like Newsom, like that we're past primaries and this is 2028 and we're like right now, like we have 3 years and our jobs as civilians are to question our politicians and call out the inconsistencies with who they are. So like I don't think that there's anything wrong with people coming onto the internet and yapping about, hey, guys, this guy might not be the one. Might not be the one. Especially because we're only 9 months into this presidency. We have 3 years to talk about these issues. And I, for one, as somebody who just got to vote in this last election and I spent the last, decade having to compromise with our votes, I'd like to see some change come out of this. So it's so frustrating to see people be like, we can't question him. He might maybe be in 3 years the pick for president. But yeah. I appreciate you letting me up though. Yeah, so let me go ahead and drop down. It is like almost 1 a.m. here.
Yeah,
so.
no. Listen, hey, thank you so much for coming up and thank you for adding to the conversation. I really appreciate you being here and adding that perspective. I will say to kind of tie on what you just said, if we don't criticize them now, then we don't have a strong candidate later. So if these people are so fragile that we can't actually hold them accountable in real time, then they're not going to stand up to being able to be a candidate in 2028. So great call out.
Yeah. But I appreciate you letting me up. I hope you guys have a good night. I'll probably be watching from the comments.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Diana.
Oh, sorry. Also, Dan and Kiana, like I know you both are on the East Coast as well. I don't know how much time you two I'm trying to rush you out the door, but I want to be respectful of your time zones as well. So if you guys get close to needing to hit that old dusty trail, make sure you let me know, okay?
Yeah, I got you. I had just text Erica and said I was gonna say whenever the conversation continues, I was gonna say one more thing and drop down because I do need to get to bed because
okay, take the floor. It's on you.
Well, I didn't have anything to say right now. I was gonna wait for someone to say.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, Kay, floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. So I just kind of wanted to dive into some ways. First, that you can. I need you guys to understand your rights and things when it comes to finding therapy in general, and who connects with you. That first question from the cliffhanger earlier at the beginning of the live, as a psychiatrist myself and therapy provider, I absolutely think it's just it's a no-go to say absolutely that you should not, utilize a woman therapist if you are a man. That's highly problematic for a lot of different reasons. Men come to therapy for a myriad of reasons, and sometimes, men cause problems for other men, and so they need a different type, or as some people are more comfortable just with a woman. So but also I want to normalize not only just seeking mental health, but interviewing your therapist. If you go to a therapy appointment and you're in there for like the first 10 minutes and your therapist is already like rubbing you the wrong way and it's not what you're looking for, it's okay to say, have a sheet of paper with you if you're nervous going. Sit down and say, this is what I'm looking forward to accomplishing while I'm here. This is what the things that I need to work on. And I'm not saying that like you're going to know A, B, and C, because, like A1 and A2 may like fit into things that you need to work on. So, but when you go in and like, okay, I'm angry all the time, I need to work on that. And I want to talk about, a specific issue that happened. or, you know, interview your therapist. If it isn't a good fit, we work for you. So don't feel bad about never coming back, because if it isn't a good fit, you will not benefit. You absolutely will not benefit. If you need resources, Santana will have them in his link tree by ends week. But if you need resources for low cost and no cost providers, which is something that I do specifically out of the state of Illinois and Virginia and the DC area. But if you need providers that are low cost or no cost, I have a network for you that I'm going to send over so that Santana has those. When we talk about helping hands, there's one thing that I just want to touch on. We have said pretty much most of the night about how white liberal men or white men cause a lot of the problems. And I want to call out my demographic as white women. We have internalized misogyny. We have things that we have to work on. And we sometimes cause problems also that, you know, men would seek therapy for. So it's up to us as well to not be therapists for our partners, but to be able to be open for them to come to and not have bias against a man coming to us and saying, I'm struggling, I need help, or I am angry all of the time and I can't put my finger on it. We need to be in therapy ourselves and be able to notice, like, okay, I hear you. How, can I help you search? Can I help you? You know, so as I'm a big proponent that I speak to white women a lot of the time, but the deconstruction process, I'm an old lady. I'm an old lady. I'm almost 50. When I started deconstructing, it was 25 years ago. It has never stopped. I will still always mess up. There's not a time where I don't have to make sure that there isn't a bias I'm not checking. So it is on us too, as women, not to labor for men who are harmful to us, but as women to be able to identify in ourselves any internalized things that we need to work on so that we can be good and equal partners. So that's kind of my spiel on the helping hands. I do have a lot of resources. I wanted to have them for Santana tonight, but unfortunately I've just had things out of my control in the last 24 hours to do that.
Also, I'm
so
a
somebody
handful.
needs
It's a lot to deal with me.
a little bit of that.
Mhm.
But if anyone needs anything of assistance tonight, please send me a message. And then the last thing I would say is, you know, and I kind of want to say it directly to you, Amanda, because I know you said you were sorry, and it wasn't really directed at you. It was kind of a reminder because we had an incident happen on another night where a trigger warning wasn't given, and then a personal story was told. And I find that it does come from us most of the time. We had almost a full panel of Black women where that never happened. Topics were talked about broadly where trigger warnings weren't needed, but it does seem like sometimes when we get real personal about things that have happened to specifically us, we have failed to give those trigger warnings. And so because our chat and our community is so vast and so diverse, I want to make sure that we're doing the best for them. So it wasn't definitely directed specifically at you, just as a reminder to everyone as we, you know, have these conversations. So I feel like the, you know, last thing is just healing yourself first before it's that life, you know, it's the oxygen mask first for you and then for everyone else around you. So please, let's destigmatize men coming to us for help, but also let's just generally try to be open doors to 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 see when somebody might be struggling. So if anyone needs anything from me, be more than happy to try to help tonight. And then Santana will have those resources. And then the one other thing I wanted to mention is that when we talk about RAIN as being one of our organizations that are getting money, RAIN does not only aid with survivors of DV. It actually helps survivors of SEX violence, both men and women. And that's the big proponent of RAIN. That is why we're trying to make sure that we give them the funds, because that's a big proponent of harm that men do perpetuate, but also that are there for the men that are seeking services. Anything else that you were looking for?
Nope.
It looks like he's fixed it up. Good. Okay.
I'm good. No, I think that's a great call out, Kay, and even more so, overall, being able to speak to the fact that the one thing that I think that you really highlighted, and while this is and has been a conversation talking about men and toxic masculinity and male fragility, there's never a time where we shouldn't stop as individuals and look inward and try to actually self-evaluate. And what it all boils down to is like everyone as an individual can always be better. Yes, we understand that there's harmful things that's perpetuated by society in different ways, but always looking to be a better individual is something that we should do on a day-to-day basis. So that was it. That's all I have.
Don, if you would like to join the conversation, you're more than welcome to.
I was just about to send him an invite because it seems like he may be interested in, yeah, might be interested in joining this conversation. Hey, get in the box. The floor is yours. We would love to hear what you have to say about toxic masculinity. And for some reason you want to talk about feminists. Join the conversation, not the chat. Kiana?
Yeah, so you kind of said what I was going to say, but it's okay. But I am about to hop down so I can take myself to sleep before 5 o'clock rolls around real fast, and I have to get these kids up and ready for school. But I wanted to say, like, to piggyback off of what Kay just said, because I think that was amazing. That the deconstruction process is going to be lifelong, like, and that goes for everybody. There is some field within this society that you're going to have to deconstruct within, whether it's homophobia, transphobia, ableism, racism, sexism, is any of the isms or phobias. I promise you're going to fit in one of those fields where you need to deconstruct, and it's lifelong, because as society grows in age, we should all be growing in wisdom and learning how to minimize the harm to those that are marginalized. And even outside of that, as we grow, there's no reason to be comfortable. So I think that when having these conversations, it is rough, especially if you fall on the side that is considered oppressive. But there is no reason why, when we're having these conversations, anybody should be comfortable. It should literally feel like you're wearing wet clothes inside your house. I think that we have to stress that, because a lot of people think that growth comes in the form of being comfortable, and it's not. I always say too, like when I'm ending my lives, and this is not what this is about, but just to give an example, there's no reason why when talking about racism, it should be comfortable for those that don't experience racism, and those that do experience it, it should be uncomfortable. And the same thing goes for sexism with men. When talking about toxic masculinity, there's no reason for you guys to be comfortable. When we're just speaking about it, you're not experiencing it. So you're going to have to just get used to being uncomfortable. But I appreciate you for having me up, Santana. Nice to meet you guys, but I am going to drop.
Kiana, thank you so much for coming by. I know that, again, this is super late for you, and you do your own thing throughout the day. And guys, if you're not following Kiana, please give Kiana a follow. But I truly appreciate you coming up and hanging out with us.
All right, have a good night.
Even
See you
though
later.
you pick on me all the time and you're a bully. So
Lies.
whatever.
That's a lie.
Whatever.
Good night,
See you
Thomas'
later.
daughter.
Erica, please.
Yes.
W chat for Lee. Lee sent a $10 donation, or Leah sent a $10 donation saying thank you for all the work that you do. Thank you so much for the donation and support. W's in the chat for Mariah, who sent a $10 donation saying thank you for all that you do. Listen, guys, seriously, you don't have to thank me because I'm just up here being a conduit for all these amazing people that are, actually pushing everything forward. So you can stop thanking me. Thank you for the lives this week. I was in a different live earlier today, and there was a white man cursing out a black woman and calling them out of their names. The subject was on racism. Surprise. Also found out that most DV happens during Super Bowl Sunday. Really? Is that a thing? Kay, is that a thing?
Yes, the most reported amount of incidents of DV are on, of all days, are Super Bowl Sunday and I'm sorry, I think that's trademarked. My bad. But
We're
the game day.
TikTok live. What are you talking about?
I know. It's still trademarked. Also.
So you telling me I can't say Super Bowl Sunday?
You can take it up with the NFL. That's all I'm saying, okay?
Oh.
And the other day is Mother's Day.
F you, Roger.
Mr. Mail Overtalker.
Sorry.
Mother's Day and the game day are the two highest calls of service for domestic violence and family violence.
Mother's Day is so messed up, but not shocking.
Does anybody know the correlation? Like, I'm legitimately confused about like why.
Have you seen men watch sports?
Men really care when their team of men lose, and that makes them angry because it's the only emotion they're allowed to express. That's also alcohol. Yeah, is involved.
And Mother's Day is the forced congregation of family members that may or may not be all, talking, speaking, to be with, the matriarch figure. And there's always unresolved tensions or, family issues that have already stemmed before that. Not all families are happy.
Okay.
Let's not forget the need to be the center of attention at times. So if they're not the center of attention, that can make them react angrily and violently. Think about it.
That's surprising. But yeah, W's in the chat for Michelle. Thank you for both of those things. I had no idea. And guys, we're up to $660. Again, like I would really, really, really love it if we could close out this third night and last night of Late Nights with Santana while we're breaking down Fragile Men versus Everybody, the All-Star panel talking about toxic masculinity and male fragility. If we could somehow make it to $1,000, because guys, this is not about me. This is not about the individuals on the panel. It's about this. We are raising money for two amazing causes. Movember for men's mental health, and also RAIN, who helps survivors of DV, and how do we say it again, Kay? How do we say
I just spelled SEX violence so that we were
S violence.
Yes, S violence. Would be good for the night.
Yeah, S violence. All donations to the pay links, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo will be going to that. So if you can chip in $1, $1, $2, whatever, doesn't matter. Anything that you can actually spare would be absolutely amazing. And we, of course, will be posting receipts because we refuse to let Kay start her community garden. So I promise you the money will be appropriated correctly. And also, guys, we want to make sure that we are helping out as well. If you are in crisis, there's always help. If you're in crisis, you can always dial 988. If you are a veteran, you can select option 1. If you're someone that is a victim of DV, the National DV Hotline, it's available 24/7. You can call 1-800-799-7233. RAIN.org has a chat function, so you can actually utilize that. And then also the Trevor Project for people within the queer community. If you need help, you can go to the trevorproject.org/get help. And they have multiple ways that you can actually get that support. So yeah, thank you all. All right.
And just real quick on those, the RAIN and Trevor Project, and most of the DV sites, you just have to look when it first comes up. They have an escape hatch by using the escape button. So that if you're on it and someone walks into a room, they are quick close options by hitting the escape key, so that you can hop out real quick so that people don't see. It also takes it out of the history, so that it doesn't get logged as part of your internet history.
Absolutely. Olive, you had your hand up.
Yeah, it's almost 1 a.m. here. I'm gonna try to sleep soon, but I just wanted to wrap up the stuff that I was saying about the toxicity within the liberal man sphere. So I just want to shout out real quick, my friends Esmina and Ethan, if you guys are watching, thank you so much for the conversations you had with me about this earlier today in the VC. But we were talking about how a lot of advocacy, specifically with huge creators that are, YT and self-proclaimed liberals, their advocacy is very much self-serving. And nothing that I'm saying right now is groundbreaking. A lot of this is just water is wet statements, right? Like nothing is like, oh my gosh, this is the most revolutionary thing you could say. No, we already know this, but unfortunately it has to be reiterated to some people sometimes. But the self-serving, like I see a lot of times in these spaces that the advocacy stops once a person starts to become disliked, as if the advocacy was hinging on the likability, the income, the profit, the clout, etc. And everybody already said this, right? Erica, Kiana already said this, but it's very, very disheartening. Like, and I've made videos about this before. Like, for example, if I'm advocating for the Black community, every single Black person on earth could hate me and I would still do it, right? It's not about people liking you. It's not about having your voice being the one that's heard. It's doing the work and making sure the work gets done. Otherwise, what is the point, right? And if you decide maybe one day, you know what? If you guys don't like me, I'm going to switch to the right. That's disgusting. I'm sorry, but I won't go too much into that. I'm sorry, that just, let me not get messy because I respect your platform. But yeah, you don't get to be a self-proclaimed ally. You have to earn that title, and those that you're advocating for will tell you when you are a safe space for them, like Erica said earlier. So I appreciate you so much for having me up here, and this conversation has been amazing. And yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Olive. Let me
I know
go
that's
and
right.
follow
Thank
you.
you so much for coming up. I really appreciate you. Not only saying yes, but for just you being you. Like seriously, I enjoy you so much. You bring so much knowledge, levity, and I love listening to you advocate for the things that's important to you. So I really appreciate you come spend some time on our panel.
Thank you so much. And not to self-plug or anything, but
Do
I
it.
am going to start going live again with my LGBTQIA plus topics. It is a safe space. I prioritize friendlies and those in the community. A lot of times it's just open conversation about our experiences. If that's something you'd be interested in, we'd love to have you join the panel. And yeah, thank you guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Have a great night, love.
Let me draw myself. Okay.
Really quick, because I want to make sure that we really flesh out the conversation and continue to get back to it. But Don, I don't know where Don is. Is Don still down in the comments yapping? Because he said that, oh, I was in the request, but you weren't. All right. So Don, I'm leaving this box open for you. If you really want to show that men aren't fragile, then get up here and explain yourself, because listen, it shows a lack of, as Erica would say, testicular fortitude, especially for someone to claim to be such a strong man, to be in the comments trying to argue with the panel instead of actually coming up and engaging in a thoughtful and engaging conversation. So Don, I'm leaving the box open for you. Anyway, W's in the chat for Dan Trail. Thank you so much for the Don. So, that's what I'm talking about. Let's say hi to the new people on the panel really quick. Why is she like that? Am I gonna have to call you the whole time, or can I call you something else? Why is she like that? Are you there? And send you a request to come off mute. Why is she like that going once? Why is she like that going twice? All right, I'm gonna drop you down. Jeffrey, how are you? Jeffrey, I'm gonna send you a request to come off mute. Jeffrey? Jeffrey going once, Jeffrey going twice. Jeez Louise. I know, right? 0 for 2. All right. Don, how are you?
Why is no one coming off of mute?
I know Don. I know Don's there. I was about to say I just saw him in the chat. Don, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Wonderful. Don, thank you first and foremost for joining the conversation. I would love to give you the floor. It seems like there might have been a little bit of misunderstanding or misgivings or whatever the case may be when it comes to the conversation in the background and just how everything is being handled. So I want to give you the floor. What are your thoughts on the premise of toxic masculinity and male?
Are you a male feminist?
I don't know what that means, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the actual background and topic in the conversation we're having.
Just to get some context, because I'm gonna let you know right now, you're not gonna have a good time. So you guys are sensitive.
I'm having a great
I'm not
time.
the person to have a conversation.
I'm sorry. I again, this is just a conversation around toxic masculinity and male fragility. And while I don't know if I would be quote unquote a male feminist, I do know that I am a man, and I have been someone that's perpetuated toxic masculinity, and the most fragile thing on earth is the male ego. And since I am a male, I do have that male ego, and it's super fragile often. So I think I can speak to both the toxic masculinity, the male ego, and also, all of the other things, the misogyny, like all of it. So yeah, I can engage in all that other stuff. Anyway, can you please tell me, what are your thoughts?
Well, toxic masculinity doesn't exist.
Why do you say that?
It's a buzzword for feminists. That's why I asked you, was you a male feminist?
Okay. Well, would you like to actually expand instead of, like the floor is literally yours right now. No one else is talking. You get to actually tell us your thoughts. So.
Okay, so it doesn't exist because you can't pick and choose parts of masculinity that you like in society and parts that you don't like. It's just masculinity, just like femininity. You don't go around saying toxic femininity. It's femininity. You can't pick and choose parts of it that you like and parts that you don't, and then deem it toxic.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I guess that's all that you wanted to say. E, you want to take a first swing?
Where's Liv so I can say I don't want to touch it? Oh.
You know I will. I just want to give you the right of refusal.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Have fun.
Yeah. So listen, or you know what? Wait. Dan, you do it.
Sure. Yeah. So are you saying that masculinity must be defined by a lack of emotional intelligence and only being able to express the emotion of anger and must be defined by a man's only worth is his success and a woman's worth is in her looks. Like, are these all things about masculinity that need to be the case?
I'm not sure your question.
Okay, so you said we can't pick and choose what is good and bad about masculinity and what is good about femininity because that's just what they are. So I'm asking you, does that mean that masculinity must include a lack of expressing emotions, a lack of spending equal time with your children because you have to work? Does masculinity include a lack of being vulnerable enough to report SA? Is that all included in masculinity? Does it have to be?
Sure.
Oh, well, that sucks,
You can't go around being super emotional as a man because
Wait.
then when you end up crashing out because you too soft, everything bothers you. When you crash out, then that's when they want to say, "Oh, it's toxic masculinity," because you was too in tune with your emotions. Emotional men crash out.
When you say crash out, do you include the guys who unalive their partners? Do you include the guys who punch holes in their walls when their sports ball team loses? Are you including the massively higher self-unaliving rate due to the mental health trauma caused by toxic masculinity? Do you include that? Or are you just talking about like when I cry on live because of like fascism? Well, what is it that you're referring
Yeah, that's
to?
what I'm like. Okay, you found out your girl cheated on you and then you beat her up for it. That's you being super emotional, and then you're expressing that in your masculinity.
Yeah.
Versus
I just want to.
just being stoic and being like, whatever, I can get another female.
I just want to say something really quick, Dan.
Go ahead. Also,
Hold on.
call out the F word. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, E.
Oh yeah, no cursing, by the way.
No, not
language.
that.
I didn't hear what he said. I wanted to say something. I just want to give a trigger warning to the
another
chat.
female. You mean?
Oh, it's women. Come on, bro. Like seriously. Like Don, behave yourself.
I
don't
said if
know
you're
you, but just
sensitive, you're not
behave
gonna have
yourself,
a
sir.
good time with me.
So, guys, I just want to call out like the trigger warning because abuse is being mentioned in many different forms. So, for the chat, just be aware. This conversation could go quite a few different ways. So, we'll see what happens. Don, you were saying something. If you want to go ahead and finish, go ahead. Then back to Dan. And I do see that Andra has her hand up in the chat.
Yeah, we're gonna get to Android next as well. Don, finish your point.
I was done.
Oof.
I was done.
Okay, Andrew, please. The floor is absolutely yours.
Oh, goody. Is it my turn? Okay, so I just wanted to go back, like backtrack to the beginning here. You said that toxic masculinity doesn't exist, right? Because we can't just pick and choose parts of masculinity that we don't like, right? Under your definition, it's just like all of it is just masculinity or whatever.
All of it is masculinity, but what you guys tend to think toxic masculinity is when men crash out.
Right. Already feeling like square, rectangle, square situation here. But so we can't pick and choose, right, parts of masculinity. We can't pick it apart. It exists as a whole. I have a couple different dictionaries open up here. I feel like your definition implies there's an agreed upon legal definition of what masculinity is then. So could you define masculinity and all these parts we aren't allowed to pick apart?
Ask me for a definition, man. It's basically what we all think masculinity is. That's what it is. I don't want to play the word game.
So what we all think it is what it is. So is like riding a Lime scooter masculinity, or could you?
Actually, I think
do you
learning
want
to
to get
do
into a
the
real
tango
conversation?
is masculinity.
I bought a pair of Heelys the other day. Would that be also?
Dancing with your woman is masculine.
I think getting a high top fade is masculinity.
I think we're in a
spot. Do y'all want to have a real conversation or not?
Well, I was just wondering what this definition of masculinity is that we're not allowed to pick apart. Like, what is the definition?
Okay, part of being masculine is being violent.
I'm so sorry. So you're just saying that inherently men are inherently violent?
Part of masculinity is violence.
I think that is fascinating.
Why do you say that, Don?
We have a police force. We have police. We have military, and it's that masculinity is keeping all of us safe. But
the police force is not about masculinity.
Hold on. So, I'm losing my train of thought. So
good.
So, yeah,
no. Let that train.
I fear the train was never at the station.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's a train of something.
Because the police force, that it's literally not rooted in quote unquote masculinity. It's rooted in slavery and oppression, not masculinity. But are you saying that you are inherently violent? Like, do you have an innate nature of being violent?
I'm supposed to be violent, just like you.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying, are you? Yes or no?
I'm supposed to be violent.
No,
just like
the question is, are you? Yes or no?
Am I violent?
Yes. Are you?
Yeah. Inherently, I'm violent. Men are inherently violent.
So for you, it's not a nurture thing; it's a nature thing. Just by simple fact of being born a male, then you are violent. Is that what you're saying, Don?
Men are supposed to be protectors. We are naturally violent.
I'm so sorry, love. If you could just give me a yes or no. You just by simply being born male, you are naturally violent.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, that is toxic. You're displaying toxic masculinity. What we're talking about right now.
But this is the thing: you don't mind it when it's police because it keeps you safe. You mind it when it's your. You mind it when. Hold on. You mind it when it's your boyfriend mad at you.
We do mind it when it's police.
That part, we do mind it when it is the police.
Literally,
you don't mind it.
We
you
do.
You saying that you do mind it, but
I'm not trying to argue.
That's not true.
Okay, let's bring this back because, like, there, Boss Lady Fang, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, you do realize this might be something you're thinking, but men are not inherently violent, right? Like, they are socialized to be this way, part of the patriarchy, and it's not inherent.
There's an echo.
There's an echo, and it's from Boss Lady. Can you swipe out of the app, please?
Yeah,
like you're checking the text message and come back.
Also, W's in the chat for Jess. Jess sent a $10 donation saying, "Powerful late nights." Thank you so much for that $10 donation, guys. We are trying to get up to $1,000 tonight. We are doing raising money for two wonderful causes. I'll put it up on the screen, but I don't want to derail with Boss Lady Fang is speaking up. But anyone that wants to support these two wonderful causes that we're taking up money for, you can donate to Santana Speaks for You, Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Boss Lady Fang, the floor is yours.
Okay, real quick, I just have to make money. Are you saying Fang?
Fun.
It's fun.
Sorry.
Am I echoing?
I had to look. I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you. I think you're hilarious. But yeah, so I'm not echoing anymore, right? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Don, did you have anything to say back to that about what I said?
Well, I didn't hear you.
Okay. So I wanted to say to you that, do you understand that men are not inherently violent? They are socialized to be violent. and like the patriarchy and how they are raised.
That's not true.
It is absolutely true.
If you see little boys playing, you're gonna see them wrestling. If you see little girls playing,
Why? Why do you think that is?
You think they're taught that?
Oh, I know they're taught that. What do we tell little girls and what do we tell little boys? Like, let's say, like I have a son, right? Like, let's say, typically, what do you hear in a 7-year-old that may come up to you and they're crying? What's a typical thing you might hear someone say to a little boy that's crying?
You tell them to stop crying.
Exactly. And
You
that's
don't just tell
different
him
than
to
if-
stop
no, no,
crying.
that's
You tell him that boys don't cry.
right,
right.
boys don't
Boys
cry.
don't
Stop
cry.
crying. That's the problem. That right
That's
there
not,
is how they're being socialized. Yes, because the thing you don't want to admit, but toxic masculinity is what you mentioned earlier about I think you said something to the effect of bearing your emotions and then snapping, and that was what toxic. No. The part about you suppressing your emotions, that's the toxic part. I mean, of course, violence, yes, is toxic too, but the suppression of your emotions is the bad part, is the toxic part that we need to stop.
nobody cares when a man is crying.
Oh, yes, we do. We sure the hell
No, you
do.
don't.
Yes,
No,
we
you
do.
don't. This is why you tell boys to not cry because nobody's gonna care.
I would never tell my son not to cry. He can always show his emotions. And if anyone ever told him that, they're not going to be in our lives anymore.
Okay, I mean, and then when he grows up and get into the world and notices that don't nobody cry anymore, don't nobody care when he cries, he's gonna get that same advice to his son.
Do you feel good when, like, let's say something makes you upset and, like, you, I don't know, maybe you want someone to hear you out and you just push that emotion down when you're upset. Does that make you feel good?
It's not about my feelings.
It is. I'm asking you about your feelings. Does it feel
No, it
good?
doesn't. No, it doesn't make me feel good. No.
Right. So why do we want to keep doing that? It doesn't make much sense.
You're in the same boat regardless. If you're crying about it, no one's gonna care. And then if they don't listen, it's the same shit.
I mean, you've been listening here tonight. Did you hear any of the resources given? Like, would you ever consider talking about some of those feelings? Because there are people that will care, and it can be someone that is not a girlfriend, or it could be someone like a therapist, right? Like, it's awesome to get those feelings out to someone that's neutral, doesn't know you, and
Yeah,
it's really
I talked to therapists before, and it doesn't help.
maybe you just didn't find the right one.
Yeah. If you're a man, you talk to a tree.
Can I just
So basically, go ahead.
really quick? If you find that nobody cares when boys or men cry, then what you're describing is the negative effects of toxic masculinity. Like, you found it. You thought at the start of this conversation that toxic masculinity doesn't exist. You found it because you just recognized that it does not feel good when nobody cares. But it seems that in society, men are taught that nobody cares. So you found the thing that we're trying to avoid doing.
You want a society where everyone's going around caring about men crying?
I want a society where everyone cares. Yeah.
You already said that it didn't feel good, like that you don't get to share your feelings and you're suppressing that. I'm not asking you what you think everyone else is thinking. I'm asking you how that makes you feel. And you've already acknowledged it doesn't make you feel good. So why do you want to keep doing it?
Nobody cares. Either way, that's the point.
I mean, I'm talking to you right now. Does it not sound like I care?
Yeah, I'm not crying.
I'm just saying we're talking though. We're talking about your feelings and emotions, and I'm saying I care. So that's not true.
That's grandstanding. You pretending like you care.
No, I
'Cause
genuinely
you want to be like a good person or whatever.
no,
But
I
in the real world, nobody cares when men cry.
I'm on this app every day, and I genuinely care about this issue. I hold like the all men's topics. Like, I care about this issue genuinely.
Can I just hop in for half a second and say, Don, literally, if no one cared, we would have already dropped you, because the way that you came out and the perpetuation of the things that you were saying, it was very harmful, and like Erica even had to give like trigger warning because of some of the things that you were saying, and you were making the comments about like not having fun if you're sensitive and all this other stuff, and then for us to not only continue but to actually move forward with this, and like now there's multiple people on the panel where we've pushed past trying to combat the things that you were saying to actually trying to hear you and really engage in you and your feelings and your thoughts. So I just want to call out that, like, honestly, if no one cared, we would have kicked you, but we care. That's why we're actually trying to have a real conversation with you.
You care to have a conversation.
Okay. Kay, I wanted to come to you.
Sure. So Don, one of the first comments you made in the chat was, I think, directed at me, and you used that phrase, grandstanding. Do you think that just having conversations with people is like that's not enough in general?
What do you mean?
So, like, why did you respond to like the information that I gave with that phrase, grandstanding?
I don't even remember what was said that made me say that.
Okay. Well, I'm a psychiatrist. I also give mental health services, therapy. I'm an internal medicine doctor. And so what you're saying says that my profession is predicated on like nothing.
That's not what I said.
Well, what I'm getting at is that you're saying that this is just the way the world is, and even if we don't teach our young children, like if we teach them when they're young that we
Thank you so much, Joanna. I appreciate you coming up.
Thank you. Drop me
Have
for
a
the
great
algorithm.
night.
Boss Lady Fun. How did that end for you? Because I know for a lot of the large portion of the conversation, you were actually guiding it in multiple ways, and I think that you actually came in and gave it the like the helping hand that was needed to shift it from a little bit cantankerous to trying to be more constructive. So how did that land in final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it went better than I thought it would from kind of how you called him out in chat, and I think he came up here and ended up being a little bit more receptive to listening to everyone, which I think that's for him a huge win, and he should be proud that he at least listened in some aspects. But I do want to say, if he's still here, or any man that like had his type of mindset, if you do care about women, or you say you do, or them presenting people, or any partner that you may have, like that, the way you were, the line of thinking that you're going down is very dangerous to women and femme presenting people. Like it's what gets us hurt or unalived. And so I'm not saying you specifically, but that line of thinking is dangerous. And so if you care, that's when you really need to think about, like, do I want to be this person? Do I want to put other people at risk? Do I want to put myself at risk? Like, you got to take this seriously. Men bury their emotions, and this is why they have the highest self-unaliving, is because of things like that. Like, you gotta think about these things and talk to people, not a tree. Talk to people. Your partners. The therapist is. I suggest everyone sees a therapist. If you don't have the right one, you just find a different one. It can change your entire life. It's changed mine. And one thing I just want to touch on when it came to the topic is that I'm like a personal believer that if you are in the demographic of the that we're trying to reach out to, right? Like, so in this case, men. I wish that more men would hold either lives, or whether it's in your personal life, and you hold other men accountable, but you have these conversations with other men, because I think that that's what really can make a difference. I'm a firm believer when it comes to these lives, it can change a lot. It's changed things for me in so many different aspects. I've learned so many different things in deconstructing, and I still am. But it really can be powerful. We might not have reached Don, but maybe we reached someone else tonight in the chat. So like, these things are important, and men talking to other men, it just sometimes, unfortunately, they listen to men more than do women.
Yeah, and I think that all goes back to the conversation as far as like who should be who should be trying to fix these problems that we have, and I do think the burden should be on men to fix the problem that men have created. And I do think that there's a need for us to work with each other to help break down those walls. The only part that I kind of worry about is that men aren't the best with breaking down those emotional walls, and so it's a lot. But I agree, and I appreciate you so much for not only helping shift the conversation, but what you brought to the panel tonight. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are amazing. Appreciate you.
Have a great night.
Kay, I saw you spinning your wheels with him. Like, that was interesting. It seems like, I don't know. It seems like nothing was really sticking for a while.
I think what was happening there is something that, like, especially like with my clientele, depending on how he got to that point, it's like double, triple the time in order to break that down. And it sure wasn't going to be done in the 40 minutes that we had.
No, it was not.
But I will say that I do believe that towards the end, like, there was a slight, like, I don't want to say tone change because I'm not talking about like the
I get what
even
you're
tone
saying.
of voice. I just mean
Yeah.
like a perspective, like bubble,
Mhm.
if you will. So I do think it's really important, like I to echo like most of how the women feel. You know, men talking to other men is great. If those men that are doing that are prepared to like meet people kind of like that guest, because if you get put into a corner and you don't know how to like really respond to them, and all you can say is, well, that's really just not how it is, and not be able to go forward with it a little bit more. I think it you have to know like what you can handle, and then leave the rest kind of to the people who have signed up to do the job. And I'm with Erica, like, you know, we get paid to, or we volunteer to do these things to truly help and make people know that their emotions, their feelings, like we joke a lot about, you know, the feelings in the tum tum and all of that, but those are all valid, and sometimes they're just misplaced. And seeing a professional is no weakness. It's no weakness. If anything, I just want to impart that it's strength. The moment that you go to an independent third party who won't judge you, who won't, you know, like if that person came into my office, I wouldn't. It was real easy for a lot of people in the chat to be like, "Oh, he's this, he's that, he's this," but like coming into a therapy office, there's no judgment there. There's only breaking it down and putting it into pieces and trying to rebuild a better framework that's stronger and more healthy. So for the men that are out there who think that this is a silly topic, who might just be in here listening for whatever reason, please reach out to somebody. There are so many different methods nowadays. Ever since C19, like there's just a boost in being able to do it virtually. You know, the websites that you're on, some are better than others. Just from a personal viewpoint, BetterHealth is not one of the greater ones, but you see it more often because they pay for the advertisement. But there are other ones just like it. Use the resources on the back of the screen. Make sure you know if you need the escape hatch. If you are in a situation like that, make sure you know how to use the escape button and know that it won't be on your computer. Call the lines. And if you're not in crisis but you need someone to just talk to, and you're not good on a live, or you're nervous, you can dial 211 across the nation, and it is a warm line that there are people there that are just trained to have conversations with you and then can also find you resources for things that might be just going on in your life if you're having some type of hardship. So, and also a lot of people who don't know this, if you are with some of the larger pay insurance companies like or like Blue Cross, some of them have all of their programs have like built-in mental health assistance that you're already paying for, and you get to see somebody that you don't even pay a deductible to see, like a copay to see them, and you could get like 12 visits once a month to check in with somebody. So there's all sorts of resources out there. Anything that anyone needs can always DM me here, or if you're on Discord, it's the same thing, just with an underscore in between the both. But please reach out to someone if you need somebody. And thank you for joining, Santana, for this really awesome topic that he had. And, we'll see it again in the things that we do moving forward, because it was so important. And Erica, thank you so much for facilitating and just kind of being like the backbone of, the voice on the panel for the week.
Thanks, Kay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Kay. I think Santana's eating.
No.
Always eating.
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah,
absolutely wasn't. Okay, hang tight for just a half second. The floor is yours.
Yes.
How did it land? What are your final thoughts?
I think overall this was pretty awesome. Like I told you on the back end, I'm pretty solutions based. So while we flesh out what it looks like and what fragile masculinity, fragile masculinity and toxic masculinity is, my whole thing is about prevention. I am such a proponent of validating your children's feelings. Validate their feelings, give them avenues to cope, teach them that it's okay to feel their feelings, how to process them, and how to release them. Because I know that for like boys, and I wanted to talk to him about this, but of course, this ain't my show. Like we have so many people on the panel. But one thing I do with Bubba, especially because he is a boy, and people always like tell little boys that that like anger is the only thing that they can feel. Like anger and lust, pretty much, are the only things that boys and men can feel. And I always tell my Bubba that, hey, it's okay to be angry. It's what you do with that anger that's important. All right. So what is it that you're gonna do with it? Because you're angry right now. Like you're angry right now. So what is it that you want to do? And we talk it out. We walk through it. Like we walk through it. Like I've been, it's a lot, but it's worth it because it's gonna be uncomfortable for you as the parent, because it can be easier sometimes to say, oh, just stop crying. It's not that serious. It can be easier to say that, but no, step outside of yourself. I've been saying this entire time, guys. Like, if we want to raise more emotionally intelligent young men, all right, then we're going to have to be uncomfortable. We're going to have to work on ourselves so that we can be better examples for them on how to deal with emotions. It's okay to apologize to your children. You are not always right, and you're not always going to do right by them. Apologize. All right. Check in with your children. I check in with mine. Like, check in with them. It's okay. See how you can better. I treat that kid sometimes like we at the job. Hey, what can I do to better assist you? Like, what can mommy do? And then he'll tell me. Like, he told me one time, like, hey, you do the TikTok stuff too much. I said, okay, bet. Got it. Let's try to figure out what we can do. Like, let's set up a schedule. So we do it. Like, you have to talk to your children like they're humans. I'm so much about prevention. I do not want any more children falling victim to this red pill ideology. Like, Generation Alpha has to be better than what we have now. All right, and that's all I got. But thank you so much for having me, Santana. It's not always a pleasure, but I have fun. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm always fun. Whatever.
Sure.
Listen, no, seriously, thank you for doing this with us this weekend. Really helping guiding the important conversation. I think that you being here brought so much levity and perspective overall to the conversation, and having that helping hand when is needed. Because you know how hectic lives can be, and especially doing it for 3 hours, it's a lot. So definitely, I'm not chewing. Definitely appreciate you being here, and even more so, I appreciate the time, energy, and effort put into by not only you and not only Kay, but everyone. Right, the people that joined the panel, the from the special guests to the community members to the people that just hung out in the chat. And with that being said, again, guys, the reason for us being here was not only to have this conversation and not only to provide resources, but to actually take up donations to help out two amazing, wonderful calls. And I wanted to let you guys know how we did. We raised a total of $1,601. I'm going to chip in a little bit more, and we're going to donate a total of $1,800. We're going to split it up $900 each. So $900 will be going to Movember, and another $900 will be going to Rain. So you guys are freaking amazing. You're so awesome. I really appreciate each and every person, no matter if you donated, no matter if you came in and spoke on the panel, no matter if you sent gifts, no matter if you tapped the screen, no matter if you just watched. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. This was an absolutely wonderful event. 3 nights we did a great job and it ended it with a massive bang. And so I appreciate each and every one of you guys. And for, you know, like I said, and I know I've made jokes about this multiple times, but I absolutely believe in transparency. So once we make the donation for those people that are in our Discord, we of course will be posting the receipts in our Discord. We'll be posting the receipts in Erica's Discord as well. And then also if you, you know, you want access to those receipts and you're not in either one of our Discords, and of course you can reach out to Kay and she'll provide it as well. But we believe in making sure that you know where all of your donations go. So I just want to say one more time, thank you all for every bit of sweat equity that you added to this entire conversation. And multiple people have said this, and I don't know, but people are trying to bully me into like, I don't know about doing this, extending it to next week, or I don't know, but we might have to spin the block on this topic. I'm not sure. I haven't made any decisions yet, so
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right. Anything else from either one of you before we get out of here?
Anything from Kay?
No, thank you all. Thank you to all of our special guests that donated their time to be here. I know you all run, you know, busy platforms that are at all times and making time to be here. Just thank you so much. It was a really great week. And, you know, Erica, I know that sometimes like our lives overlap and all that good stuff. So, I mean, thanks for just hanging out with us. Appreciate it.
Oh, of course. Anything for Kay.
Yep.
Anything for not for Santana, but for Kay. I just want to thank all of the creators that came by, all of the community members that joined the panel, the people on YouTube who watched, the people over here on the TikToks that watch. For everyone who contributed, you guys are absolutely amazing. Again, thank you so much, Santana Gang, for having me. I appreciate y'all. Also, I'll be back to, I guess, the regular scheduled programming come tomorrow, Thursday, because I'm still on West Coast time. But yeah, I'm about to go take my evening nap because it's nap time.
Before you do,
what's up?
Yeah, this ain't your regular panel. Nah, we speak the truth. Late nights with Santana and Mama Jones watching. Better keep it clean. Let's go. Late nights, truth in the convo. Everybody get a seat at the table. From the block to the books, we mindful. No screaming, just dreams in the Bible. One mic, one voice. We build bridges from the heart of the hood to the world's big issues. Politics, pain, different cultures.
Guys. It's been a great week. It's been absolutely a great week. I really appreciate the time, energy, and effort put in by everyone, because this was not a one-man show. This was a initiative that was done across the board. It was something that I could not have done alone, right? I mean, there were so many wonderful people that were involved. And with that being said, thank you to every single person, no matter if you were someone that came in and commented, no matter if you were someone that actually, tapped the screen, shared the live, just, thank you all for being here. You guys were absolutely amazing. And I mean, I'll say this, I'm not advert to spinning the block and doing this again one more time. So maybe. With that being said, guys, I do want to send you guys on a raid. I want to send you guys to an amazing creator that I just found. I promise you, you're gonna absolutely enjoy him. He does debates. Here it is, right here. Boom. Let's go raid Joey. Send him all my love. Santana raid. Let's go raid Joey. I promise you, he is an amazing. He's actually a DACA recipient, right? So he does debates as well. He's super dope. So go check Joey out. I'm gonna swing by as well, guys. Thank you for all the likes, the taps, the gifts, the shares. Thank you for being here. I love you all, and as always,